Got it.
Got it.
Good morning, good day, fellas.
Good morning and good day.
Good morning,
Did
good
you ever
evening, and
see
good night.
When we start the
Deadpool
recording like
scanner.
this, it appears like we were all here on time.
Scott, you're saved.
Did you ever see that guy with scanners right before his head exploded?
Scott, can you tell all three of our audience members why you were late today?
I was taking the cat to the cleaners.
That's not a euphemism, folks.
The cat cleaner.
It's a real
Yeah.
excuse.
If you think of it in terms of like mob speak, he had his cat killed.
No.
What,
They were
eat
all
the
out of the
fishes?
home euthanasia kits, so I had to take him in.
God. All right, stop recording. Let's do this again.
No, keep it.
Yeah. You guys are going to get me fired one day.
The home euthanasia.
Oh,
We would
yeah.
be the ones firing you. We fire you.
Hold on, I got a replacement here already.
Avery, you're on.
She's hilarious. Oh, so
All
how
right,
we been since last week?
Been
Oh.
good. Been good.
Watch any good movies? Any good TV shows?
We finished The Witcher Blood Origin, which was a 4-part series. If you've watched The Witcher on Netflix, it's like a 4-part prequel set 1,200 years in the past of the Witcher universe. It was cool. It's kind of like to whet your appetite for the next season of Witcher, but and kind of given a little,
With Liam Hemsworth?
and not Mr. Henry Cavill, because
tell
he
ya.
wants to go do Warhammer instead.
That guy had a rough few weeks.
Yeah, they made him Superman and then gave him nothing to do with that.
Right.
No, you're
think he'll
Superman.
be okay.
We're not going to make a movie, but you're Superman.
He'll be fine. Have you seen the mustache he can grow? He'll be amazingly fine.
We'll just CGI it out for any other movie that he does. It'll be fine. Everything will be great.
What's the worry?
He was in The Tudors, too. He was actually really good in that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
the
loved him
speaking
in your meeting will end in 10 minutes.
I-
Oh, fuck you. I mean,
That's one.
that's one.
Jesus. That's
I still am fascinated
Sailing Schooners with Stephen Riddle podcast.
with you and my
It's not a
cussing.
schooner. It's a sailboat.
Look at this naked bear's ass. Quit cussing, Steve. You're ruining this podcast for us. All right, so Tim, you were right the first time. It is we'll log off and we'll log back in. Tim, you were right. Are you? Are you? I
I'm
hope
holding
you
on
are.
for 9 minutes.
Yeah, well,
You're-
yeah.
hope
Let's
you're
finish our little
satisfied.
intro thing, and then somebody talk
Yeah.
about how they just watched Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
I
Oh,
did
that was
not
you.
just watch it, so I'm just going to be going fully on memory.
I have
But I
not watched it
remember
recently.
the femme fatale was Steven Spielberg, or is Steve, or was, I don't know, I don't follow it, is Steven
Mhm.
Spielberg's wife. So that's how she got the part
Yes.
in the movie.
Well-
and Temple of Doom was also a prequel, was it not?
Yes. Hold on. She didn't get the part because she was his wife. They met on set, and then things happened. So they
Oh.
got married after. So to
Oh.
my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, they met on the set
Oh,
or during filming or whatever.
okay.
So, but yeah, still happily married 30 some years later.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of weird that guy's walking around without a heart still. I mean, how much do they have to pay you to let you tear your heart out during a film?
Om Nam Shivai, he went into the lava.
He did.
Mhm.
He burned.
I'm still alive, but I'm very badly burned. And my heart-
Just very badly burned.
You please throw down some first aid. Maybe
So
a
I
nice
have
mallet.
watched this kind of recently because my youngest has been going through the phase of like wanting to watch all the really, really cool movies that I grew up with, 80s and 90s movies. So yeah, I'm ready to talk about this. There's some, I was telling Steve before we started recording 20 minutes before Scott got here. Like I've found some really good trivia, and I think you
I'm
guys are going to
7
enjoy
minutes
this
late,
one.
For the record, 7 minutes. not
Uh-huh.
20.
Mhm.
What about all those times I was early?
Nobody was here, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
like that one time. I can't think of it right now, but and there was that other No, wait, hold on. I can't think of that time either. Oh,
I'm sure it happened. I'm sure it happened.
I think it did.
Mhm.
He said it happened.
Okay, this is a good pause. You guys want to go out and come back in?
Nope.
Yes.
I'm
Nope.
going.
I'm staying here.
I'm waiting.
Leave meeting. So we can practice our intro real quick since we still have 7 minutes left,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and then we can start at the beginning when we start recording, and then we'll flow right into Timmy's delightful trivia that he has cooked up for us today.
Good. Good.
All right.
Hi, Tim.
Thank-
Are we doing it? Oh, sorry. You guys next.
Wow, he just started clapping for himself.
Oh,
Okay.
hi, I'm Scott.
Hey, I'm Steven.
And I'm Tim.
Thank you for watching.
And this is
And I'm Scott.
Thank the both of you for watching the Subtle Nerd podcast, where it's 3 lifelong best friends talking about really whatever it is comes to mind, mostly nostalgia, nerd stuff,
And I'm Scott.
and why Scott is always late. Those will be the
heterosexual
main
life mates?
topics of discussion. And marvel at Timmy's 4 drinking glasses.
Do I have Marvel today? I don't have Marvel today. Sorry, guys.
Damn it.
You're
I
fired.
got nothing. I don't have Marvel, but I do have a giant chicken. If you guys want to see that.
I
Yeah.
have been
Yeah.
asking to see your cock for quite some time now, Tim. And
Do we count that, Scott? Is that one?
This guy.
There's a
Alright, we're
very
just gonna-
distinct line. Nude bears and half-naked men on screen shares, 100% fine.
But
Steven's
when-
potty
Steve.
mouth, absolutely abhorrent.
when this makes an
Reprehensible
appearance.
behavior.
Mm.
Mm.
All right.
All right, we're
Nice.
gonna exit and we're gonna come back in.
All right. All right. So since I probably watched this movie most recently, I think I'm going to start.
Can we intro first?
God, yes.
Tim's like, shut up, the both of you. We want to talk about this.
That's our intro for today.
That's our
Shut up,
intro.
both of you.
Everybody be quiet. All right, I'm Steven.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Tim.
Thanks to both of you for watching the Subtle Nerd podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Mhm.
Tim has prepared some delightful and thought-provoking trivia questions for us today. So we'll kind of jump right in.
I have. So right pretty much at the beginning, and the whole movie opens up with the dance sequence with
Anything
Willie
goes.
doing her dance. Exactly. With Willie doing her thing, which, by the way, was the final thing they recorded because they had to get her dress all made. It was like made out of vintage 20s and 30s beads, which I thought was pretty neat. So they took a while to make that. So that was the final thing made, or the final shot created for the movie, which I thought was neat. I love hearing stuff like that. Somebody quick tell me, what was the name of the nightclub they were in? Oh,
Is it
really, guys?
Bird,
Oh.
wasn't it?
The Falcon?
No. Oh, Nate, you're closer. Wait, Scott, what'd you say?
I said it was a bird of some kind. If I,
Oh, I thought you
recall.
said the naked bear.
No, that'll come later when he screen shares. Not the Falcon.
Mm-mm. No, but you're right in the Star Wars realm. Club Obi-Wan.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Really?
they didn't even hide it. They,
Wow.
in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the plane that Jock is flying is like kind of a reference to Obi-Wan and 3PO with the call letters on it. But this one is just like bold, bright Club Obi-Wan right on the front.
Wow.
It's real quick, so you don't see it like that long. So
Yeah,
if
but
it's
still.
like blink and you miss it type thing. But yeah, they Lucas was not hiding, like, oh, let's call this Club Obi-Wan, guys. I could get some more royalties from that.
Oh, thanks.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is
So
pretty
it's-
cool.
So what do you guys remember from the intro?
So I remember the dance, and the credits are rolling throughout the whole dance. It's a gigantic production.
Mhm.
And then we go right into James Bond, Indiana Jones,
Yes.
Yeah.
With the white
who's
tux.
with the white
poison,
tux.
you just drank it.
The poison, break the poison, you fucking prick. I imagine he said that as he giggled,
Of
but I thought
course.
that was so like antidote for what? Poison, duh. That you obviously just drank.
Oh,
And he starts swirling the drink,
hmm
what was left of it, and he's like,
He felt the I guess debris or whatever on his fingers.
Poison slippery
Poison.
or something like.
It, it can't be smooth. It's got to go down
Can it?
easier.
I remember there was a gong they were behind while they were getting shot at.
yes,
And it made that really cool sound.
with a Tommy gun shooting it.
Oh, dude, and that
Right.
guy was so happy shooting. You remember him laughing
Yeah.
and just guffawing the whole time. It was great.
It's practically a Muppet.
And the cool thing about that scene, man, I'm starting to remember this. Like on the other side where Indy and Willie are running, you can see the bullets hitting the gong. I remember
Yes.
that. I thought that was so cool.
And sparks flying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then the building catches on fire too, doesn't it?
Sure.
No, they
Does it?
crash through the window with the gong, and they jump out, and they go through the canopies, and finally the last canopy catches them, and then they fall through the car that Short Round is driving, because that was exactly as they planned it. Holy smokes!
And he's got a block on his foot and everything, so you can reach the gas pedals.
Priceless. Priceless.
All right. Somebody pronounce his name for us. Short Round's real name. He was also a Goonie. I'm putting you guys on the spot.
You texted it to us, and now
I
I
did.
can't. Hold on. Retrieving. Have to go through 900.
And I've met the dude twice. He's a really, really nice guy.
I don't want to butcher his name.
I probably will. Scott, you want to give it a shot before I say it?
You can say it.
Kiwei Kwan.
I think that's right. Actually, I think you got it. So I'm just going to call him Key because, I've met him twice. But yeah, so
First name basis here.
Short Round's driving the car with the blocks on his shoes so he can reach the pedals. It's
Was
good
he
stuff.
sitting on a phone book too?
I think you're right. I think the classic phone book kid sitting on so he can drive. So yeah, so they drive through, they have a pretty good car chase, and then they get to this little tiny airport. Anybody remember who greeted them at this airport? Oh, you guys.
Nice try, Lousy.
Before that, the character's name was Weber, which I didn't even realize till I had to look it up. Dan Aykroyd was the
No,
gentleman.
it's not.
Yes, was the gentleman who, Dr. Jones, good to see you. Like he's got that whole radio announcer persona voice going.
Wow.
He's got a mustache, but they never focus on him. It's always like that kind of pulled back camera shot where they're
Right.
like rushing out of the car, getting into the plane. And like the closest thing you see of Dan Aykroyd is like as the camera's panning back right before they close the door and you see Lao She's name on the plane. That's when you see Dan Aykroyd's face kind of moving away from the camera. But yeah,
Wow.
Dan Aykroyd and Spielberg were friends.
not know
Apparently that's how he got the gig, because Aykroyd was in 1941, a few years prior.
I
So there
did
you
not
go.
know that.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd.
That was
It's
a
one of
nice
those,
bit
like,
of trivia.
You recognize the voice, but you don't really get to see him, so it just kind of passes on by.
And that's pre-Ghostbusters as well,
No.
or slightly
Post.
post.
When was this
It's
movie
right-
made?
Raiders was what, 81?
Sounds right. 81,
This would have
82?
had to have been 84 or 85, which would have put it after Ghostbusters. Or the same year.
Oh, I don't know whether I believe you or not. I
Wow.
probably should,
All right, everybody look it up. Same time.
I'm looking it up.
84. Okay. Well, about the same time, 84.
Yeah,
81, 84,
It
89.
wasn't that crazy. You had to do that. Look how stupid you are.
I didn't
Indiana-
say anything remotely regard to that.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Goodness.
Uh, Yeah, both were 84. So
Yeah. It's about that time. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Some good stuff. Good stuff. So anybody else have any comments about their plane ride?
The plane ride.
I love
And-
that it was like it was riddled with chickens.
This guy.
I know, right? And the guys are sneaking past. Their parachutes are down around their hamstrings instead of on their backs as they're scooting past.
And as the second guy goes by, he's like, whoa.
Yeah, he's because
So
he don't
good.
want to jump. He's scared.
He's so scared.
And then he throws out, and then it's Willie who wakes up first, right? And then she's like pulls back the curtain, is like, huh.
Indy,
A
no more
boat.
parachute.
We're not sinking. We're crashing. Ah!
Yeah, the most, even when I was a kid, that was the most ridiculous exit from a plane that I've ever seen and probably ever will. Because they'd just be splatted when they land on the mountain first.
They land
After
on the
coming
mountain.
out
I mean,
in the inflatable raft.
3 carcasses land on the mountain, and then they pan to the 3 actors who were on the mountain the whole time and did not jump 1,000 feet out of a plane
On a clear green screen.
on a boat.
Is that a common feature on airplanes to be able to dump the fuel like that?
It is in the movies.
I don't-
mean,
I don't know anything about flying a plane.
yeah,
Harrison
just-
Ford did it in Air Force One.
true.
He dumped the
But
gas there.
But like I go to my car and there isn't a dump the gas button that I can push. Like all the fuel just fires out of the back.
I'm
It's
sick of going places.
You don't
Dump
drive
this
the
fuel.
Batmobile. You're not able to put an oil slick behind you.
No, I'm not.
That would be
I
great.
don't know. Maybe it is common
Shoes.
on planes. Like maybe there's some case for having it, but
I think
tried-
it's for the older planes. I have no idea. It would
And
be a
Air Force
great
One.
thing to look up. I have no idea.
All right. Next week on the Subtle Nerd Podcast,
We'll discuss planes.
airplanes and their
we
ability
get in the
to
planes
eject
and dump the
fuel.
gas. All right. So then they end up in this Indian village after a plethora of ridiculous adventures coming out of that plane.
Yes,
So
they flew off the mountain, landed in water again, not dead.
So they filmed in Sri Lanka, not India. They couldn't get permission in India, apparently, is what I found out. There was I can't remember the phrase. There was a certain phrase where the India government said, you got to take that out. It's offensive, it's not real, but Lucas and Spielberg were like, no, it's got to stay in. I'll try to remember what that phrase was, but they filmed in Sri Lanka because they couldn't get actual India.
Hmm.
So they get to this the town with nobody who speaks English. In real life, these people were being fed their lines by Spielberg. Have you guys ever seen that behind the scenes footage?
No,
Like the little gray haired old man that
Yeah.
kind of is the main.
you will
The
go
main
to
person.
Pankot Palace.
Yeah, yes. So he's being fed these lines. He had no concept of English, didn't know how to speak it. Like off camera, Spielberg standing there with the script saying, this is what you say. And then he would say it. And then this is what you say, like 3-4 lines at a time.
Wow.
Yeah. But I found out on IMDb that none of the people in that village, it was an actual village, spoke English. So I thought that was pretty neat.
I did not know that.
Now you do.
And then he has immediately has them embark on a quest. I'm like, yeah, I know you just fell out of a plane to a mountain and fell off of the mountain onto a river and are probably half dead and needed sustenance. I need you to go find a rock for me.
3 rocks.
Well, one was specific to their village. The sacred
yeah,
rock,
yeah,
the
yeah,
sacred
that's right.
Yeah.
Sankara stone was to their village specifically.
Mhm.
But you find out throughout the movie there was one of 5,
Oh yeah.
but 2 were lost in
Mm-hmm.
the catacombs, is what he says. So they end up having just the 3, and then you bring them together, they glow,
hmm
which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Good call. Good call. So, Scott,
Yes.
tell us what you thought about them trying to get to the palace from this little village. I don't know.
Yeah, you just got me to look on IMDb, and the first fact on there was that they actually covered her with bugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In that one scene.
Yeah.
They had to give her a bunch of sedatives first. Man,
And then
I don't know
I
if I
guess
can do it.
I don't know if none of them were gonna bite. Which those were some big bugs.
They're big and they look scary.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna like attack you. I think what stood out for me from the journey to the village to the palace, they're not birds, sweetheart. They're giant vampire bats. And they're not giant vampire bats. They're flying foxes.
Yeah.
But they really are that freaking big.
Mm-hmm.
They are enormous bats.
Weren't
They
they
eat fruit.
fruit bats or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
in
they
that
eat fruit.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
holding up the fruit bat, but they're that big.
Yeah, that was a big bitch.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Jeez, Timmy too.
No, that's still
You
PG-13.
fucking guys, the cursing.
Hey, there's one for you.
Oh my God.
Speaking of, so PG-13, this is like a little side note. Do we all know how that came about? That rating?
Some government agency wanted something to do.
Probably. No, it actually, because of this movie and Gremlins, like the MPAA or whatever they are, wanted to rate this R, mainly for like the scene with
Where
removing
they're
the
ripping
heart.
out the heart.
Yeah. But Spielberg was able to kind of calm him back down to PG. And then Gremlins came out. And then they wanted to make that rated R. Spielberg's like, no, come on, guys. I think he had to back off with some scenes for Gremlins to give them PG. But that discussion happened to get a new rating because of Steven Spielberg and these two movies, which were both Spielberg movies. Gremlins was what produced, I think. Like Joe Dante directed it. I think Spielberg produced it or wrote it or something. I can't remember. But yeah, what's the first PG-13 movie?
Oh, Jesus God.
So 1984, I think it was. Hold on, I actually wrote this down. Yeah, July 1st, 1984.
Was it the movie 1984?
No.
No.
July 1st, 1984, a PG-13 movie.
Yeah. Access the files. Come on, you got
Oh
this.
God. No, I don't know if I have this.
Swayze. I think Swayze.
Ghost?
No, that was
Oh, that
later.
was later. That was later.
And that's
No,
This is
Dirty,
the one with
Dirty
the
Dancing?
Dirty Dancing.
nope.
Roadhouse.
Nope. Come on, guys.
Ah, all right, fine.
Jesus. What other movies?
It rhymes with Fled Fawn.
Red Dawn.
There he goes. Good job. Red Dawn was
Patrick
the first
Swayze was in Red Dawn.
PG-13.
He was.
Wasn't he? Yeah. I'm right?
You
I
have
think
to
I'm
be.
right.
trivia.
I looked this up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was PG-13 came from this movie. So I always thought this was rated PG-13, but it's not. It's just PG.
PG. We'll tear your heart out, and all the kids can watch it too, as
Right. As long as you're around, the parents are around
long as the parents are around.
and giving guidance.
I mean, those are some wild movies that came out that we watched, and you're just like, I was 5.
My parents were guiding me to it. It was okay, I guess. All right. So they get to this village, or from the village to Pankot Palace on
Yes.
elephants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real elephants. Those were cool scenes. Like
And
no green
Dumped
screen. They
cologne.
were.
They dumped perfume on the elephants, right?
Dr.
Yeah, yeah.
Jones, I would feel safer sleeping with a snake. Stupid elephant. Get out of here.
So good. So good. And one of Short Round's lines while they're camped out, waiting to get to Pankot Palace, where they were playing cards. And he's like, you cheat, Dr. Jones.
I
was
cheat
the-
very little. You cheat very big.
That was the table read. That's how Kay got the part. So I actually just saw an interview on this because he's kind of back in the news again. He just got the Golden Globe for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I think the Academy Awards are this weekend, next weekend. I can't remember. But they're coming up. So he's nominated. I think he's favored to win, which is awesome. because this was his first movie. But he went in with his brother to try out for this movie. Like he wasn't on the list of people to try out like his brother was. He was just the kind of there. So Spielberg or whoever was doing the read saw how, he was kind of trying to support his brother and just being there for him. And they're like, hey, why don't you try to read this? And Kay said that the next thing you knew, he was in a room with Spielberg and Harrison Ford, just like doing like lines from that scene right there. Like, you cheat very little, I cheat very big, or what you said, vice versa. And it's just like he went in for his brother to support him. He wasn't even trying to get the movie. And all of a sudden, he's Data, he's Short Round. And here he
He's
is.
in Loki.
Movies that made us.
He's in what?
Loki.
Oh, season 2. Scott came back from the future. Has seen it. That's right. He is going to be in Loki, isn't he?
That's what IMDb says.
So is that going to lead to a bigger role for him in the Marvel universe? I mean, he's a pretty bankable actor right now.
It'd be cool if Data became into the Marvel universe.
So, all right, I'm branching off. Side story again. The first time we met him was at a convention. Camden was probably 8 or 9. So we go up and I had something from Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, and Camden had something from Goonies for him to sign. And Camden was kind of starstruck. Like, she'd seen Goonies a million times. I don't know if she'd seen Temple of Doom yet. So she's, they're making small talk, and he's doing his best. He's being so nice. He's trying to get some conversation out of her. And he's like, oh, what do you do? She's like, oh, go to school. I'm in 4th grade. Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she named off like marine biologist and this and that. And then she says inventor. And I shit you not. Oh, PG-13. I S you not. He just he lights up, and you could hear him from across the room. He goes, an inventor, just like Data. That's so cool. Like, he was like actively like moving around and like so excited that she wanted to be an inventor, just like his character. It was a moment that definitely has a core memory in my head.
A
was
core
really neat.
memory.
He seems like a really cool guy. I think we should get him on the podcast.
Okay.
Scott, can you make a note?
That's my to-do.
Yeah,
You had it twice, Tim.
Nice to do.
that's on your list. Write that down after you're
Your
drinking.
kids are in the Eastern Shore right now, Scott. Like, you've got the house to yourself. What else are you going to do today?
There you go.
Clear brush.
Aside from get me my music files.
Harrison Ford and I are going riding ATVs in the backyard. So
We gotta clear this brush.
It's the clear and present danger that we have to clear.
Oh, this guy. All right, guys. Thanks very much, folks. We're out.
at least you didn't. Well, you're gonna play Truck Force 1, the movie.
Oh,
You're
God.
just gonna try to
It's a-
escape from the truck.
It's a mosquito coast out there, fellas.
So anywho, the Temple of Doom movie that we were talking about 25 minutes ago.
Thought we were talking about Mosquito Coast.
We're actually only about 10 minutes into the movie at this point.
We have not taken a deep dive.
But we've actually gone a little too deep, I think.
All right, so we're in the palace. Let's just say we're in the palace. Let's get
We're in
to
the palace.
yeah. There's
They're
a
eating
kid.
monkey brain.
Yeah, they're eating monkey brains. The
Get
snake
something
surprise.
simple like soup. It's fucking eyeballs.
Nope,
Oh
that's two.
no!
That's 2. Give me your
We're gonna
hat.
get
Why?
a
I'm gonna
digital
puke in
swear
it.
jar in here.
I'm gonna throw up in it.
Every time you swear, you have to put a Bitcoin in the jar.
Ooh, I'm in. By
Goodness.
the end of the
And-
podcast, you'll have 18 cents.
It's worth slightly more than that.
And by the end of the podcast, it won't be. Wait,
Mm,
Bitcoin or just
No,
Bit-
that
Bitcoin.
in general? Oh, okay. All right. You guys.
No. It's on heck
do
of a
it.
swear jar. We'll split it at the end.
All right, Columbia.
Thanks, Steven.
Anytime.
All right, so
So
they're in the
at
palace. Yep.
They're in the palace. They're eating monkey brain, snake
people-
surprise, eyeball.
People
soup.
dancing.
More dancing.
Mhm.
It's like I actually thought this was going to be like Indiana Jones the musical at this point because of all the singing and dancing.
It was a lot.
Well, Indy has the back and forth with we never really got his title. Like he helps the Maharaja, but he's like the guy who greets them at the door, welcome to Pankot. And then Indy has the back and forth with him. Like when he starts challenging, what is it that you're doing here? Like, oh, I seem to remember some of your exploits. And the king of whoever threatened to cut off one of your hands. And he's like, no, it wasn't my hand. He's like, oh, your hand perhaps. And he's like, it was my, and he looks down at his crotch and he says, it was a misunderstanding.
It was my misunderstanding.
Exactly what we have here.
subtle things you don't get when you're PG-13ing it.
It was totally PG, but he looked at his penis and was thankful that it was still there.
I'm sure he did.
was looking at the bag next to his penis. Come on.
I keep a bag next to my penis. I look at it all the time.
So
Where
then
he
we
carries
get
his escargot.
the kid emperor. What do we call him?
Maharaja.
Maharaja. That's right. You say it so well. I love to hear you say it.
Thank you.
Say it again.
Say it slower. Yeah.
So we got the Maharaja. You said penis like 8 times in a row, and you're like, Jesus, Tim.
That's gonna be one heck of a swear jar.
Tell him about the wiener. All right, so we got the Maharaja. He's like 8 years old.
Yeah,
sitting there running the show, being awesome.
Maybe he likes older women.
And then he waves. like a perfect kid wave. It's like, hey. It's good stuff. All right, so yeah, let's get into the alleyways that we were talking about a little while ago, where Willie finds all the bugs. So he wants to find he heard about the kids at dinner, right? All the kids that were enslaved. Like that's why he was.
They were
He
disappearing.
heard about that, but then he went to after they were having the back and forth seduction battle between him and Willie. And then when he went back to his room, the guy comes in and chokes him.
Yeah.
And they battle. And then he's worried that somebody was in Willie's room. So he bursts the door and she thinks that he's there to plow, but he's there to find, somebody sneaking about. And that's when he touches the stone boobs and finds the secret passageway.
Did you just accuse him of being a rice farmer?
I think you did.
What?
We're gonna plow. Here we go.
You wanted it PG. Scott's like
Thank
putting
you.
a stop on me saying all my expletives, so fine.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
I was plowing, Steve.
So everybody just really quickly gets dressed in their signature clothes, except for Willie, who's in her pajamas.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It was the 80s. It was cool to do that.
Well, Short Round hands Indy his whip at that point before they go in.
Yep, whip and hat, I think.
Get my stuff.
You got it, dude. Wrong kid actor.
Yeah, that's Full House.
And his hat. Don't forget his hat.
And the whip. Don't forget the whip.
And then it's just like what am I stepping on? Something crunchy. Oh God. And then
Maybe it's fortune
bugs
cookie
everywhere. So it's
Fortune
what is it?
cookies.
It's not. There's no cookie.
Damn it, kid. Yeah, stepping on all the bugs. So yeah, Scott, what were you looking up about the bugs?
Where they put all the bugs on her.
Yeah, apparently they were real, and they had to give her sedatives before he did the scene. And she said they worked because she just laid there.
I mean, that was a lot of bugs.
It was
It
an
was-
obscene amount of bugs.
They said it was a couple thousand bugs.
Yeah, what were they all living on down there? Just each other.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of wet, gooey stuff.
You said to stand against the wall. I didn't know what you said.
Oh man. So then we finally meet who I swear up and down when I was a kid, I thought the big bad guy, the bald guy, was Bill Cosby. I would swear to you, as a 8-year-old or whatever, however old I was, I thought he was Bill Cosby with the red stripe on his bald head.
Did he try to sell you Jello?
Not then. There's a different party, Well, we're PG-13, right?
I'm gonna take out his heart and I have a pudding pop.
But turns out it was not Bill Cosby. He was doing other things at parties. But yeah, so that guy, I guess, was like a pretty heavy hitter in the Indian world of film. So this was the first movie he shaved his head on. which launched like an incredible villain career for him.
Hmm.
Like he kept the look for a while.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah. And I guess he became a villain in a lot of I don't know, Bollywood movies. Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Bollywood. Sure.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. So we get to what
They witness the ripping out of the heart,
and Willie's
then,
still
you
trying
know,
to scream.
sacrificing him to the lava.
Yeah. Where was the whipping scene? Was that later?
That was a little later after Indy was poisoned
Yeah.
with the blood of, you know, whoever the Maharaja.
Oh
blood.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. There's a fun fact on IMDb on that one too. So if we ever get that far.
Well, I mean, we're pretty much there.
Well, Harrison
Alright.
Ford loves to do his own stunts, so he was actually whipped for this. And
Yep.
you
So
know,
that
currently
says
bears
while
the
he was
scars.
chained to a large stone, Barbara Streisand appeared dressed in a leather dominatrix outfit. She proceeded to whip. Silence over there, huh?
I mean, so wait, Barbara Streisand
So during
came
the
in?
whipping, it says while filming the whipping scene, the crew played a practical joke on Harrison Ford. While he was chained to a large stone, Barbara Streisand appeared dressed in a leather dominatrix outfit. She proceeded to whip him, saying, "That's for Hanover Street."
That was
Worst
a pretty
movie
bad
I
movie.
ever saw.
That's
a
for
pretty bad
Hanover Street. Jesus, I didn't write it.
All right. Well, I didn't like the movie, but I'm not gonna whip Harrison Ford for it, but maybe I would if I was given the option.
Apparently, Carrie Fisher got in to block and protect him at some point. Too.
Of course she did. Of course she did.
And you're like, why was she there?
So Harrison actually injured his back pretty badly on this movie during the fight. I think this was down like in the like the underground area. Like he was fighting
The big dude.
the big guy.
Oh, that really, yeah.
Who that guy was in all three movies, all three of the original trilogy movies. In the first movie, he was the airplane mechanic. In this movie, he was the kid or the guy whipping the kids. And then the third Last Crusade, I think he just played a really quick role. Like you see him running to catch the Zeppelin.
So he's like the C-3PO of the Indiana Jones world.
Yeah, until he died, and then I guess we're not going to get any more cameos from him. But yeah, Harrison like hurt it, like got a herniated disc, and most of that part of the movie was filmed without him. Vic Armstrong, his stunt double, did all the stuff. Like you see, there's so many scenes where Harrison Ford's like facing the other way, and that's not Harrison. So I thought that was neat. He had to be flown like back to the States for back surgery, so he missed a lot of filming.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty neat.
I do love when actors do their own stunts as much as possible. It makes it such a better experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why I love like the Tom Cruises,
I was gonna say Tom Cruise,
the Jackie Chan, Jet Li, like the guys who are all about doing their own stunts.
Mm-hmm.
It adds so much more real. It in a fantasy world, it adds that element of realism that really like makes you feel like this is actually happening.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
With how good cameras are now, like you can clearly tell, like in a movie from the 80s or 90s with all the HD upgrades and stuff like that, you can tell like that wasn't Harrison, that wasn't this guy in certain scenes.
Yeah, like Terminator 2, the motorcycle.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
That goes off of the edge when he fights the T-1000 for the first time. When he lands, you're like, that is absolutely not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep, when he's getting that little valley thing.
Yes,
right.
And it's a slow motion shot too. So like it's slow motion, obviously not Arnold until he hits the ground.
Right. All right, Arnold, action. I'm here. Yeah, that was definitely not him. Well, I'm running out of trivia for this movie, so we just want to kind of talk about the end. And I got two more bits.
I loved the scene on the rope bridge.
Which one?
Absolutely loved it. Where he talks to Short Round, and he's like, "Hang on, lady, we're going
Oh.
for a ride."
It's like Molaram is coming in. Molaram, I just did it. That's
Yes,
his name.
you did.
It's all in there.
It's going around.
Mhm.
And then cuts to he's like, "What are you doing? You
Is
in
he cra-
hell?"
Is he nuts? He no nuts. He crazy.
He's crazy. And like, you know, the alligators that are down below, like that always stands out because they had him doing death rolls every other shot with the clothing.
It was just the clothing. Even
Yeah.
as a kid, I
You're
realized like,
horrified.
there was nobody there. They didn't even try to put like pieces of chicken in there. All these alligators are just
PG,
rolling around
Tim.
in gracious.
PG,
Goodness gracious
Tim.
me.
Like they can tear a heart out, but like you can't eat people.
I know, but still, at least give me a little red dye or something.
Give me a
Just-
hand or like
Right.
someone's
Luke
severed
Skywalker's got one you
arm.
can borrow.
There it is. We found it. This alligator got it.
There was a hand. Did you see the hand? But yeah, I remember thinking how disappointed I was because I love alligators and like to see them on screen, that's really cool. But they're just rolling around in clothing. Like, all right, they're just trying to cover up.
At Molaram's death, where like he hits the side of the mountain like
Right.
4 times
With his
before he
head.
flies off, like Jesus.
With his bald ass head, they made a point in the CGI as he's flipping to scrape his head.
They
Like,
did.
Come on, guys, it was hilarious.
Not
And then
only is he
alligator.
gonna die, but it's gonna hurt the whole time while he's dying. Like,
It's like Peter Griffin falling down a mountain,
oh Christ.
Hmm.
or
After
Homer,
fighting a chicken.
right? All right, so I do have 2 pieces of trivia. One, all 3 main characters in this movie were named after somebody's dog. So, do you know the story of Indiana Jones being named after Lucas's dog, Indiana?
They make a joke about it in Last Crusade, right?
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
actually that's true. Like Lucas had a dog, either Indy or Indiana. I'm not sure
Oh,
if that was what was his name, but I'm sorry, Spielberg. No, I'm right. Lucas. Lucas had the dog. Spielberg had a dog named Willie at the time. So he named it after, he named Kate Capshaw's character Willie after his dog. And then this one is a little deep dive. The screenwriter Willard Huck, his dog's name was Short Round.
are you serious?
Yeah. So all 3 main characters were named after somebody's dog that worked on this movie.
Wow.
And that's that for this sticky note. What else you guys got?
Just that it was a prequel.
Yeah, an early
Right.
prequel. Yeah.
It was like one of the first like prequels.
Not a lot of people realize that. I didn't when I was a kid.
Now it's standard practice to do prequels, sequels 40 years after the first movies came out.
Mhm.
Yeah, but this was a prequel. One of the first times we get a prequel.
And they don't really mention it. Like
They
there's
do
nothing
not.
about it. Yeah.
Well, you just see when the movie starts, it was 1911.
Yeah, the date, the actual date.
And then you remember from Raiders, it was later. It was what, 1913 or something, 1913 or 1914?
Possibly.
Isn't there something too where like they never mention the Ark and the Covenant in this movie only, but they do in the others? Which makes sense, I guess, because it's a prequel.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
Yeah, they don't talk about anything from Raiders in this movie.
yeah,
Because it didn't happen yet.
it did not. But
Mm-mm.
I never knew it was a prequel.
And this is the first time it was Indiana Jones and something. The first movie was just
Right.
Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Yeah. They
which
only,
is an awesome title for the
Yeah.
record.
only recently did they put in Indiana Jones and
Yeah.
Jones and for all the movies.
Started
I
as
think that
Raiders
was,
of the Lost Ark.
Probably a
Right after
DVD
he
release.
named Star Wars: A New Hope, right? It's like, I guess we got to give these things names.
Oh, I can make money off this. This is a saga, folks. This is a saga.
Have you ever at the
Prequels.
theme park at Disney, like the movie experience for Indiana Jones Spectacular? That's really
Yeah.
cool.
I did that when I was in 7th grade. I'm sure it's changed a bit.
I don't think it has, but anyway, it's really cool. Still has the airplane. It has like all
The
the
exploding
Boulder
truck.
Run and stuff. Yeah.
Lots of
Yeah.
explosions. You can feel the heat off of the explosions, which is awesome.
I do
Yeah.
remember that.
They changed it up though when we went, Scott, in 2016. They had the guy who was portraying Indiana Jones broke the fourth wall and was talking to the audience,
Yeah.
which was odd. Like, dude, just go sneak about and steal this thing. Well, we got about a minute left here,
Let's-
folks.
Let's come back real quick. So
We're here. We're back.
Stop. Less than a minute, it says.
Yeah, less than one
No,
minute.
no. Let's like leave and come back real quick so we can do a proper exit instead of making it feel rushed.
Instead of rushed. Okay.
I got,
All right.
I got one
I'm gonna,
more, and then we can just
Perfect.
chat for a second.
I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
We're stopping.
Are we stopped? All right, so I do have one more piece of. Oh, that was scary. One more piece of trivia that nobody will know ever.
One more pizza trivia. Got it.
Why don't you
That's-
give us one that we would know?
Yeah,
I did.
Stop trying
well,
to stump us.
I've been doing that the entire time. Come on, Dan Aykroyd, Club Obi-Wan. You guys should know that stuff. So one final piece of trivia. This was the first movie I ever bought myself with my own money. Back in the day, came out on VHS, and I walked into the video store knowing it was on sale for probably like what, $30? Isn't that what they sold new VHSs back in the 80s for? So I walked in, $30 down on the counter, and this was my first movie I ever bought for myself.
Which movie was it, Tim?
God. Start over.
God,
Cut.
Steve, remove him from this this chat.
So from an early age, my love affair with Indy and Harrison started.
Wow.
What was that
Sounds
Mad
erotic.
magazine cover? Was it
It
In
is.
Banana Jones and His Last Crude Days?
What?
Yes, that is
That was
right.
Mad Magazine.
Oh my gosh. Say it. Say that again. Say it again.
In Banana Jones and His Last Crude Days.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What is happening?
That is a sloth, I
Oh,
think.
it is. Are we showing our special things here?
I mean, if it's that kind of podcast, I mean,
Hmm.
I'm into it. I just want you to know.
That chicken
Yeah.
looks like it could have just been a sensor bubble that you inserted.
Could have been. I'm pretty good with it.
That's what I hear.
I'm counting on it, Tim. I'm
All right.
counting on it.
So for the future of Indiana Jones, I really doubt it's going to happen. We got one more movie coming, and I think this is probably going to close out the saga, the series.
You'd think that, wouldn't you? But we're going to recast Harrison Ford.
No,
Yeah.
shut your face. Shut your face. So
I'm telling you,
what
they're going to do it.
what I really want to happen is either, how they always have this kick-ass opening scene where it's just like nonstop adventure, and then they get into the real story, or right at the end, I want him to find the fertility god. The first thing we ever see him try to get is this fertility god, and then it's snatched from him. So what I would love to see is somehow he comes back into possession of the fertility god, and it goes into the museum.
It belongs in a museum.
Wouldn't that be a fitting end to the entire series with Harrison Ford?
Would be. Or
Belloc
snakes.
snatches it. Huh? Or what?
Snakes.
Yeah,
Why did it have to be
snakes?
snakes?
I beat you.
Maybe he gets over his fear of snakes. And that's how we wrap up his saga. He's grown and developed and progressed as a character over the 40 years that we've seen him.
He has a pet snake with his grandson.
Just-
You know what? I'd
Shia
love to see
LaBeouf.
the fertility god come back into play right here.
That would
Wow.
be a cool.
So it went to Belloc and then ended up in the Gansky
PG-13.
basement.
Oh God. Yes. Oh God. If Harrison comes in here looking for it, you guys
Where is it, you prick?
do not resuscitate.
Do not resuscitate. He's beating on you, Mr. Harrison Ford. I'm such a big fan.
God. Oh God.
Just
Oh
want you
God.
to know.
I need to drink out of my Harrison Ford coffee mug right now.
Scoundrels.
Ah, much better.
Ooh, scruffy looking.
Scott, right now.
Yes, he
I am
is.
not.
Cassandra.
Well, and
Second place,
Cassandra.
Tim.
looking.
Oh man. Well, that's all I got. I crumpled up all my little notes here and I'm
Oh.
out.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, a delightful adventure.
This was good.
If I have some music files, I can probably put something together so we can actually start posting these on the
I uploaded
internet.
them.
Let's pretend we're hearing them right now.
There's another one that we should try to find. So the scene where Willie's about to be sacrificed, apparently you can hear Darth Vader's lightsaber power up during that scene.
Interesting. Have to go back to that.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like they were filming these things together at the same time.
The same
right.
people.
Get out of this costume. Go get
Yeah.
dressed as Han Solo. You're going to meet Darth Vader in the giant dining room. It'd be delightful if you would join us.
All right. So this entire episode was dedicated to Ke Kwan. Ke Kwan? Did I say it wrong?
You probably did.
All right. So Cassandra's going to try to get him on our next podcast.
That's my job.
After the music files, Tim.
Well, you know
I
what?
put
If
them
he
up
can-
there. Just because you haven't checked doesn't mean they're not
If
there.
he can get Mr. Kwan, I would accept that over the music files first.
Wow. Okay.
They're up there now. Come on. Task complete.
All right. Well, there you go. Now,
Task complete.
now you have
After-
another one to do.
After 6 requests and no responses, I have finally completed your task.
Yeah. It's been a week.
It's been a week. Did you sleep outside at all this past week? It's gorgeous for it.
No. It was colder when we slept outside. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, way to bring us down. All
Yeah.
right.
Wow.
That was really sad.
This really ended on a downer.
Well, folks, this
Thank
was
you
good.
guys. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. If you found a small bit of joy, please like and subscribe. So then our 2 listeners can become maybe 3 listeners
Is this our 4th episode? I
in
think it is.
sequential order. Sure.
Yes, I think it is. All right. Hold on.
Cool.
There we go. I need a little party hat.
All right.
Doesn't look like a party hat.
It's
gonna-
a cornucopia. I just did copier. God.
Do you remember those little things where you'd pull and it had like the firecracker in them and it shot the confetti?
yeah.
out?
Yeah, we're a
Yeah.
mess.
The champagne bottles, is what they call them.
What's this? What are we doing?
Wrong.
Wrong podcast.
Wrong franchise. All right.
Yeah.
So tune in next week for some more 80s or 90s goodness with subtle references riddled in our podcast.
Boy, you want to hammer that home.
Subtle Thor references.
Subtle Thor.
Yeah,
Thor.
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 And please feel free to contribute to our swear jar.
Bitcoin only, apparently.
Scott is convinced that YouTube is going to throw us off if we say more than one cuss word. Convinced.
Well, they can't
My-
show this in
My
elementary
door
school anymore.
breaks down as I'm saying this. They drag me off screen. No.
They're gonna wait for you to stop recording.
All right, guys. Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you
this was
so
good.
much.
Yep,
Tim,
I
come
gotta-
clear my sticker bushes.
Come clear your cookies, your cash. What?
Clear
Sticker
my
bushes.
browsing history.
All right.
kidding.
Good luck with the
Enjoy your
bushes.
birthday party.
Yeah. Thanks.
Have fun storming the castle.
Bye, bye, boys.
Will he do it?
All right, guys. I'll catch
Bye.
you later.
Bye now.